Welcome to Hero Villains. Today we find out about who do you think would win in a fight between Magneto and Graviton at their strongest. Graviton can manipulate gravity, allowing him to create gravitational fields, alter the effects of gravity, and even create black holes. This can be used to immobilize opponents or crush them under extreme gravitational pressure. Graviton's control of gravity gives him the ability to affect a large area and is resistant to Magneto's magnetic fields. His powers can be extremely destructive. Magneto can manipulate magnetic fields and metals, as well as generate electromagnetic energy. His powers allow him to fly, create force fields, and manipulate the environment around him. Magneto's powers are extremely versatile, allowing for both offensive and defensive strategies. He is highly intelligent and strategic, often using his surroundings to his advantage. Before we dive into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. First of all, both of our superheroes follow the principles of relativity. Gravito possesses powers that transcend the limits of general relativity, as he is the embodiment of gravity. Meanwhile, Magneto not only controls magnetism, but also exploits the interaction between electric and magnetic fields. This means that when he moves, he can create and control the phenomenon of electromagnetic induction, expanding his ability to manipulate electromagnetic fields flexibly. There is no doubt that Gravito can control the gravitational tensor, allowing him to influence the curvature of space-time, slow down the flow of time, create pocket universes, and even open wormholes, bringing about countless interesting physical phenomena. Without a significant gravitational field to tap into, Gravito's capabilities are greatly reduced, reducing its effectiveness in microgravity or environments with weak gravity. When he manipulates space-time too much, it can create unwanted physical anomalies, such as gravitational anomalies or gravitational singularities, which can have dire consequences. Many believe that Magneto is superior due to his incredible strength, his ability to manipulate electromagnetic forces, and his ability to control metallic objects. Furthermore, given the fact that gravity in our universe is orders of magnitude weaker than electromagnetism, the difference in magnitude between the fundamental forces does not accurately reflect the potential for manipulation by an individual capable of controlling them. In fact, Graviton has demonstrated that he can control gravity at a level roughly equivalent to that of a black hole. He can lift the entire island of Manhattan without any effort, demonstrating a remarkable level of mass manipulation. Not only that, Graviton also possesses the ability to adjust the trajectory of objects with absolute precision, to the point of being able to throw a rock from one point on Earth to the other side of the planet and accurately knock down and kill a girl in Australia. Gravitational control does not stop at manipulating objects, but also extends to the ability to affect the fabric of space-time. According to the principles of general relativity, any significant change in the gravitational field can distort the surrounding space-time. That means that any type of energy or object thrown at him, sun and will be subjected to the same curvature of space-time as the planets around the sun, as the satellites around our Earth, and as we know that light and all forms of energy are bent when they approach a star or galaxy with gravity. It is clear that all light can be pulled into a black hole from which it cannot escape. So I think what you have to consider is that Marvel didn't create Graviton with the same relative power compared to entities like Magneto as he does in real life. That is, he clearly possesses a control over gravity that is many times greater than its relative power in real life. His ability to create space curves / wormholes, mini black holes, gravitational fields, means that anything thrown at him will actually be redirected around him, sucked into a wormhole to appear somewhere else in the universe or potentially back to Magnus. The Graviton can essentially stand there like a living black hole, so that anything Magnus tries to throw at him will never reach him, instead being pulled or bent by the high gravitational fields he can create between them. And if you think about it, the strength of a beam of light approaching a black hole has nothing to do with whether or not that light is an object of the black hole. It is the object. So even a mini black hole, even if the most powerful laser gets close enough to it, will not be able to escape it. The relative strength of gravity versus electromagnetism. Magneto could try to hit him with the strongest magnetic or electrical blast he could summon, but all Graviton would have to do is bend space-time enough that every bit of energy and physical object would simply bend around him. His gravitational powers don't have to be on the same order of magnitude as Magneto's electromagnetic powers, so I think in this case, Graviton, as long as he keeps his sanity, his ego in check, could actually defeat Magneto and pretty much every other being in the Marvel Universe, because gravity conquers everything except maybe something straight from the quantum realm itself. Assuming the laws of physics still apply to Magneto and Graviton's world, then Magneto would still have to obey Maxwell's equations, and Graviton would have to obey the equations of general relativity. Therefore, we must assume that Magneto can create electric and magnetic monopole charges of any magnitude in space, and can also create currents of these charges. This would allow him to manipulate the source terms of Maxwell's equations, and that would allow him to create any electric and magnetic field that conforms to Maxwell's equations. The source of gravity, on the other hand, is the 10-component stress-energy tensor. So we will assume that the graviton can create any configuration of the components of that tensor in space-time to manipulate the resulting gravitational field. The most interesting components of this tensor are the mass energy density, T0, and the pressure, T11, T22, T33. We will assume that magnetos can violate the conservation of charge and current, and gravitons can violate the conservation of mass/energy and pressure. If they did not have this ability, they would be very limited in what they could do. A significant advantage of the graviton lies in the fact that all forms of mass and energy in the universe obey the laws of gravity, while the electromagnetic force can only act on charged or magnetic objects. This creates a distinct difference between the two forces. On a cosmic scale, electromagnetic fields have little effect, while gravity completely governs the macroscopic structure of the universe. Since the Big Bang, this force has been slowing down the expansion of the universe. However, only in the last few billion years, about 5 billion years ago, the influence of dark energy has begun to overwhelm gravity, driving the expansion of the universe at an ever-increasing rate. This accelerated expansion is thought to be the result of a small but constant form of vacuum energy that permeates space and creates a negative pressure, influencing the evolution of the universe in the direction of ever-expanding expansion. Gravity also plays a decisive role in the formation of cosmic structures, including galaxies, stars, and planets. It is the gravitational collapse of matter that leads to the formation of spiral galaxies and even supermassive black holes. Subscribe to the channel, it helps us a lot, and moreover, you will see great videos every day. You are the best. Thank you very much. Certainly with a strong enough electromagnetic field, Magneto can shatter any object made of ordinary matter by converting it into a plasma of electrons and nuclei, thus destroying it. However, graviton can create a black hole around any object, which will also destroy it. In fact, if graviton created a black hole around Magneto, it would not only destroy him by removing him from our universe, but it would also remove any ability for him to project his electromagnetic field away from the black hole, since nothing can escape a black hole. However, a black hole can support a static charge, so if Magneto is fast enough, he can create a large enough charge on his body that the black hole will become charged. And in fact, if the charge is large enough, it can prevent the black hole from forming, because for a given mass of the black hole, in this case, graviton simply needs to increase the mass of the black hole he is trying to create at a faster rate than Magneto can accumulate charge. When the mass reaches a critical threshold, a black hole will form. Once the black hole has formed, Magneto will not be able to continue adding charge, so the battle will end in graviton's favor. However, this strategy only works against objects that are statically charged, or magnetic. In contrast, graviton can create a gravitational field that can act on all objects, regardless of their electromagnetic properties, including dark matter. Although gravity is an attractive force in nature, graviton can use it to direct or suppress the motion of an object. By simply adjusting the strength and direction of the gravitational field, he can create an effect equivalent to an effective drag force, slowing or reversing the trajectory of any object at will. One of the interesting things about the stress-energy tensor, however, is that if there is a region of space with negative pressure, gravity can push back. In fact, that's how dark energy is accelerating the expansion of the universe. It has enough negative pressure that the overall gravitational effect on a cosmic scale is pushing back rather than attracting. So perhaps the graviton could manipulate the stress-energy tensor to create negative pressure wherever it wants and potentially cause gravity to push back. Another trick the graviton could do is create a region of negative mass. This is exactly the kind of exotic matter needed to stabilize the opening of wormholes that allow faster than light travel from one region of the universe to another. Magneto would never be able to do that because, by definition, his electromagnetic field can only travel at the speed of light. Really, the only downside to graviton is that the gravitational force between two elementary particles is many orders of magnitude weaker than the electromagnetic force between those particles, as stated earlier. Matter has both positive and negative charges, which almost always cancel out completely. On the other hand, the gravitational effect is always additive. In any case, the weakness of gravity just means that graviton will have to use a stress-energy tensor with component values many orders of magnitude larger than the electric charge and electromagnetic current that Magneto generates. So I think the actual outcome of a battle between Graviton and Magneto will depend on how much power they have to manipulate the source terms. In other words, how fast Magneto can increase the electric charge and current to the values he needs compared to how fast Graviton can increase the mass/energy and pressure terms of the stress-energy tensor to the values he needs. Graviton has this covered. Magneto is very powerful, but if Graviton gets creative with his abilities, he can do some really terrible things. He has shown that he is willing to do so. Graviton could gain the upper hand due to his ability to manipulate gravity, potentially nullifying Magneto's magnetic powers. However, Magneto's strategic thinking and versatility could allow him to find a way to counter Graviton's abilities, especially if he can manipulate any metal object in the environment to his advantage. In conclusion, I think Graviton has a lot of tricks up his sleeve and could hold his own and even win a fight with Magneto. Who do you think would win? I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much.